Good afternoon, everyone. Vanakkam, Varha Valmudan. So, from the morning, we've been enlightened about the concept of genetic center, what are waves, and they've been describing about different aspects of the genetic center and the biomagnetic field and so on. Now, I'm here to talk about two important physiological events that happens in our body, namely the immune system and the physiology of sleep. The immune system is nothing but the defense mechanism of the body. How does the body attack the disease-causing microorganisms? And when it comes to sleep, it is the rest the body takes in order to perform its activity efficiently the next day. If we do not sleep for 2 days, what happens? The systems of the body are not going to work efficiently. So the body knows how to attack the disease-causing microorganisms, also to take rest so that the body is able to rejuvenate itself and work efficiently the next day. But how does the body know about all these things? So I'm going to talk about the origin of such events by connecting these events to our Maharshi's genetic center concept. So to begin with, I would like to briefly explain how the immune system works so that it is easy for you to understand and correlate it better. Am I clear? Okay. So to start with, let me just briefly explain the immune system. So we know that there are 3 types of major cells: the RBCs, the WBCs, and platelets. The RBCs carry oxygen to different aspects, to all parts of the body. The platelets are responsible for clotting of the blood. So when we have a cut, it is the platelets, okay, that causes the clotting mechanism. And the WBCs are involved in attacking the microorganisms or the disease-causing microorganisms. So where are these cells located? Okay, so all these cells are there inside the blood vessels. Ratta kolai kulla da இந்த cells எல்லாம் இருக்கு. So let me just briefly explain what happens. Okay. So I'm just drawing the blood vessel. This is the lining of the blood vessel. We call this as the endothelial cells. This is the lining of the blood vessel, and these are the endothelial cells. So where are these cells? The RBCs, the WBCs, and the platelets. They're all running in a central stream. Okay? So they're all flowing in a central stream inside the blood vessels. Now, the neutrophils, we all know the WBCs, there are different forms of immune cells. In that, the neutrophils are the first line of defense. When microorganisms, the disease-causing microorganisms enter our body, for example, this is a disease-causing microorganism which has entered the body. Now, this will produce chemicals, and this is recognized by the neutrophils. But where are the neutrophils? They are running in a central stream inside the blood vessels. Now what it should do? The neutrophils have to now come out of the blood vessels and come into the tissues in order to attack the microorganisms, right? So what does it do? Suppose you imagine a car which is running at a very high speed in a midway, in the center or the middle of a highway. Suppose the car wants to move to the parallel road. What should it do? The car has to now slow down, yes, and then it has to go towards the pavement, and then it has to take a left or a right to go to the parallel road, right? So similarly, these neutrophils are running in the central stream. In order to now come to this, it has to now, from the center, it goes to the lining, okay? So it goes, these cells now slow down and they come and line on the cells. Okay, this is the lining of the blood vessels. These are called as the endothelial cells. Now once they line here, now there is a gap that is produced between the endothelial cells, like this. So these endothelial cells give some space between them in order that the neutrophils come out of the blood vessel. So after it comes out of the blood vessels, now it knows, because of the chemicals produced by the microorganisms, it knows where the microorganism is. Now this has come near the microorganism. The neutrophils are almost round in shape. But what happens when it is closer, or it has come near to the microorganisms? It extends its cell, in the sense, the cytoplasmic extensions. It puts out arm-like extensions around the microorganisms, and then it completely engulfs the microorganisms. So once the microorganism is completely inside a neutrophil, again it has a packet of chemicals, some toxic chemicals that gets released. From the toxic gets released, and then it digests the organism. So this is how our immune system works. But how does the body know that it has to act in this particular way, right? This concept of engulfing is not present only in higher organisms like us, human beings. It is also present in the single-celled organisms. Like for example, if you take amoeba, even the amoeba gets its food by engulfing the bacteria. But how does the amoeba know about it? Does it have brain or nervous system? Like how does it know about it? So here comes the concept of genetic center. The hypothesis is that previously, or in the beginning, or early, Tarchayalaga, incidentally what could have happened is that these organisms, like the amoeba I'm saying, and before that I would like to say that we have around our body, we have the biomagnetic field or biomagnetism. The biomagnetic field rotates in and around the human body. கண்டிப்பாக. ஸோ ஒரு பயோமேக்னெட்டிக் ஃபீல்ட் நம்மளை சுற்றி இருந்துகிட்ருக்கு. Yeah. So we know that there is a biomagnetic field, okay, that rotates in and around us. So what happens is that even for an amoeba, there is a biomagnetic field that is rotating in and around its body. So by chance, initially what could have happened is that the amoeba could have come across a favorable protein molecule or a bacteria. So after that, there could have been a chemical reaction that has happened between the bacteria and the amoeba. So ஒரு amoeba first அது மூவ் ஆகிட்டு இருக்கும்போது ஒரு ப்ரோட்டீன் மாலிக்யூல் அது பக்கத்தில் வந்திருக்கலாம், ஒரு பாக்டீரியா வந்திருக்கலாம், அது ஒரு கெமிக்கல் ரியாக்ஷன் நடந்திருக்கலாம். அந்த கெமிக்கல் ரியாக்ஷனால் ஒரு எனர்ஜி, ஒரு ஃபேவரபிள் எனர்ஜி ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆகிருக்கலாம். ஸோ ஆல் தீஸ் ஈவெண்ட்ஸ், சீக்வென்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் காஸ் பர்டர்பேஷன்ஸ், அலைகள், அண்ட் அது சுழன்று கான்வல்யூட் ஆகி, ஓகே. ஸோ இமேஜின் த அமீபா. ஸோ அதை சுற்றி அதோட ஜெனட்டிக் சென்டரில் பதிவாயிடுது. ஸோ வாட் ஹேப்பன்ட் பை சான்ஸ் இனிஷியலி அண்ட் லெட் டு தி சீக்வன்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஈவெண்ட்ஸ். அதாவது என்ன ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் நடந்தது? ஒரு பாக்டீரியாவை பார்த்தது, அதோட ஒரு கெமிக்கல் ரியாக்ஷன் நடந்தது, அதில் ஒரு எனர்ஜி ப்ரொடியூஸ் ஆச்சு. ஸோ இது எல்லா சீக்வன்ஸ் ஆஃப் ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் இட் இஸ் காசிங் பர்டர்பேஷன்ஸ், சுழன்று. இட் இஸ் ஸ்டோர்ட் ஆஸ் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இன் த ஜெனட்டிக் சென்டர். So the next time, now the genetic center informs the amoeba, or the amoeba gets the information from the genetic center to perform these events. எது ஃபஸ்ட்டு தற்செயலாக நடந்ததோ அது இன்ஃபர்மேஷனாக பதிவாகி, அந்த இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் தான் இப்போது இந்த அமீபாவை events, it is carrying out all these events. Okay, so that's how even the amoeba would have come to know, 5 minutes, even the amoeba would have come to know that we have to act this way. Are we clear so far? Okay. So let me come to the second concept. So idlanda the engulfing activity nadandadu. Okay. So let me come to the second part. It's 5 minutes. Sleep. Sleep is as important as food and water. Because when we don't sleep for 2 days, we're not able to function efficiently the next day. Okay? So sleep eppadi nadakudhu in the brain. Just a brief explanation about that. In the brain, we have something called as the hypothalamus. The inner aspect of the brain, hypothalamus is a small structure. Adukkulla there is another structure called as the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Adu oru chinna structure. In the structure, this suprachiasmatic nucleus receives the light signals from the eye. So adukku theriyum light irukka illa dark irukka அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து கண் வழியாக இந்த suprachiasmatic nucleus க்கு வந்து சேரும். அப்போ லைட் இருந்தால் என்ன ஆகும்? லைட் இருந்தால் suprachiasmatic nucleus க்கு தெரியும், அது சொல்லும் hypothalamus லைட் இருக்கு. ஸோ என்ன ஆகும்? தூக்கம் வராது. Still it is in the arousal state. Darkness, lights off ஆயிடுச்சு, it's become dark. Now what happens? Again the signals are got from the eye to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It says now darkness has come. Now it puts the hypothalamus to an inactive state. Also, it also sends the signals to the pineal gland. The pineal gland produces an enzyme or a chemical called as melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep, melatonin is again a sleep producing enzyme. So on the suprachiasmatic nucleus, darkness ஆயிடுச்சு அப்படின்ற இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை pineal gland கொடுக்கும். Now pineal gland will start to produce melatonin. Melatonin will induce sleep. So in sleep there are certain activities of the brain that are shut down, that are little inactive, but certain other active, the parts of the brain are active. Okay. So இதுவும் எப்படி வந்தது? இந்த ரெஸ்ட் எடுக்கணும் அப்படிங்கிறது எப்படி வந்து? Again I'm going to take you to the amoeba. You know that there is biomagnetic field around the amoeba. So என்ன நடந்திருக்கலாம்? இந்த biomagnetic field ஒரு drop இருந்திருக்கலாம். You know, like நம்ம என்ன செஞ்சாலும் biomagnetism குறையுது இல்லைங்களா? So they could have been a drop in the biomagnetism. அந்த biomagnetism கொஞ்சம் குறைஞ்சிருக்கலாம். It would have reduced in such a way that the amoeba was not able to move. அந்த amoebaங்கிற ஒரு single celled organisms ஆல மூவ் பண்ண முடியல. Later, this biomagnetism would have reduced to such a level that it was not able to perform any of the activity. அதாவது engulf பண்ணி digest பண்ணுறது எதுவுமே செய்ய முடியல. Later, the biomagnetism would have reduced to such a level that it was not even able to sense. Because நம்மளுக்கு சென்சஸ்க்கு கூட ஒரு பார்க்கறதுக்கு கூட ஸ்பெண்டிங் ஆஃப் biomagnetism இருக்குது இல்லைங்களா? ஸோ என்ன நடந்திருக்கலாம்? இந்த biomagnetism குறையும் போது அந்த அமீபாவால் ஃபஸ்ட்டு மூவ் பண்ண முடியாமல் போயிருந்திருக்கலாம். நெக்ஸ்ட்டு ஒரு ஆக்டிவிட்டி, எந்த ஆக்டிவிட்டியுமே செய்ய முடியாத அளவுக்கு ஆயிருக்கலாம். லேட்டர் ஒரு சென்ஸ் கூட பண்ண முடியாத அளவுக்கு நடந்திருக்கலாம். And all the sequence of events are again, they produce perturbations and they convolute to the center, and it is stored as information in the genetic center. Now the genetic center tells the amoeba, biomagnetism is reducing, you please take a halt, you rest for some time, don't do the activity. No, நீ ஆக்டிவிட்டி பண்ணால் குறைஞ்சிட்டே தான் இருக்கும். So when it is reducing, take a halt, take some rest, and then after your biomagnetism is restored or replenished, you carry on with your activity. So what happened initially by chance again has become information, and it is stored as information in the genetic center. Now genetic center gives information to carry on such events. Okay, so this is how all the physiological events of the body are linked to genetic center. எல்லாமே தற்செயலாக நடந்த விஷயங்கள் They were stored as information in the genetic center, and later the genetic center informs the organism, okay, carry on with these activities. So this is what is my hypothesis, and I would like to say that the related quantum mechanics equations have been derived by my co-author and husband, Dr. Arun Vel. அவங்களுக்கு இந்த பேப்பர் வந்து it was accepted, in the complete paper was accepted to be presented in an international conference which happened in Italy. But இங்கேயும் அவங்க வந்திருக்கணும், but he had some office work, so he couldn't come. So I'm just a delivery person and to talk about the bio part. So all this has been formulated by him, and he says that he got all this from Maharishi. Okay, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and your patience. Varha Valama.